when I was in the bar and I got in trouble, as I said last week, I was mad at that person for kicking me out. And then I was mad when he actually turned me in. It's like, well, he was doing everything fine. And why was I really mad? Mostly I was really mad because hey, what's going on today, y'all? Just, well, for starters, I am supposed to be doing an intense bike ride today for my workout, but I woke up with just this crazy back muscle spasm. I don't know what's really going on, but anytime I try to lean forward and stretch my arm out in front of me, it just pulls tight and I can't breathe. It just gets so tight. So I really been just trying to loosen that up because I do want to get the workout done. But one thing that I've really learned, especially in triathlon, I don't want to say so much in my recovery, but in triathlon, in recovery, I've learned to check my motives. But through triathlon, I've really started to learn how to listen to my body, and there's always I'm kind of evaluating. It's like, am I trying to get out of this workout because I know that it's going to be really hard? Or am I legitimately in a pretty just bad situation to where I shouldn't do it because doing so is going to just really probably damage me more or not allow me to perform? And especially these, intense workouts, I really want to give 100% in them. And I mean, even if I can only give about 75%, I'd probably still do it, but I'm down around, I think, about 40%, even though I'm on a bike. But I still have to hold myself up and really start doing some breathing, and just that breath right there really just tightened everything up. So because of that, I'm just trying to take some time. I'm trying to just stretch a little bit, and after I have some lunch or whatever, I will maybe take a Tylenol and see if that will. So maybe see if that'll loosen it up, and hopefully by this evening I'll be able to get that workout in. I know I said I'd probably go at 75%, but I think I'm feeling about 55-60%. I gotta give it a try. It's loosening up, the back is loosening up, and a lot of times around this with the motivation, I gotta at least just get on and give it a try, just to make sure it's not my motivation that I need to put in check and then I'm actually in pain. Like I said, I feel like it's loosening up, things are getting better. I'm gonna give it my effort. I'll put the effort in, and if it doesn't feel good, then I stop. We give it about 10 to 15 minutes. I got a 15-minute warm-up here, so see how I feel at the end of that. Make a deciding factor. But as of now, I'm gonna go for the goods. Like I said, it's tight. Feels a lot better when I'm kind of in the upright, but I'm not gonna race in the upright. I'm gonna race down in the arrows. So this is where I wanna be able to do the workout, at least the majority of it. So anyway, just a quick update. Now checking that too, the hard work, like I mentioned, is am I trying to make an excuse to get out of doing hard work? And we're talking about step 4 this week, and step 4, I believe, is hard work. It's hard because for so long throughout our time spent in our addiction that we have just come up with delusional thought patterns that really have crippled us to be able to understand the kind of damage and chaos that we're creating, not only in our lives, but in other people's lives. Our addictions have really just dismantled our ability to be honest about our lives. And when we are trying to take this step and be honest, it's not just being honest saying like, yeah, I did that. You know, there's a difference between confessing to something and then confessing with conviction and saying, I did this because I was scared that people weren't gonna like me, say. Like, you know, like I'm gonna take it back to last week's drunken sailor story, and that is, you know, when I was in the bar and I got in trouble, as I said last week, I was mad at that person for kicking me out. And then I was mad when he actually turned me in. It's like, well, he was doing everything fine. And why was I really mad? Mostly I was really mad because I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I knew that if I got in big trouble, you know, that I could lose some more finances. I was already on a financial struggle bus, but I was potentially could have lost even more money. I could have been degraded in rank again, and all this stuff just brings up humility and shamefulness, and that all got covered up by anger. And angers are resentments, right? And it says in the big book, I have it here real quick, hold on. On page 64 in Alcoholics Anonymous big book, it says, resentment is the #1 offender. It destroys more alcoholics than anything else. And that's what step 4 really helps us do, is come to this understanding of how these patterns in our life, how these character flaws have, you know, we've created these kind of justifications and reasons for why we do things, and then can put blame on other people so that we don't have to accept that responsibility. So in recovery, I've really learned, and specifically through step 4, you really start to see where some of these character flaws come out and why we kind of live our lives according to those flaws. And so as we start to do the work in step 4, those are the things that we have to look at. We actually have to go back and say, well, maybe it wasn't them. Maybe it was me. And usually it's not a maybe. It's like, it wasn't them, it was me. But regardless of anything, I'm a firm believer that there are 2 sides to every situation, sometimes 3 or whatever, but there's me and my story and what I've done, and then there's the other side. And all I can be responsible for in any of my behaviors is me. I can't, if I own a storefront, I'm responsible for keeping my store clean. It doesn't matter if somebody comes in and breaks something and then leaves without cleaning it up. Well, if somebody else comes in and steps on that broken piece of glass and gets it, I'm at fault, not the other person that left. So step 4 really gives us this foundation to be able to start to go back and look at our lives in kind of a more honest way. You know, not just saying that I did it, but really owning it. And then at that point, you almost start feeling like, oh, wow, like I really have not treated this other person so well by holding them in contempt for all this time. And that's big, that's huge. And that, again, this is why so many people just kind of try to step side or go around this step. And I also want to say with step 4, or any of these steps in AA, there's these 12 steps. Don't look to the next step to see what's coming next, because that can just instill more fear and make you want to go a different direction. Focus on what we're working on. This is what we have. Let's do this now, and then we'll worry about what comes next. It's progress, and as time goes, we become more and more free of the bondage of self that we, again, in step 3 had said, we want to be released from this. I'm willing to do the work to get released from this bondage of self. That's what I got so far today, guys. A lot of stuff going on here with the kids. It's the last week of homeschooling. So pumped, but I'm a little fearful about what's going to be next year, because it's already been a lot, and I have no idea what's coming ahead. So, hey, get out there. Thanks for being here today, guys, and I really appreciate your support. Stay strong. Don't be afraid to be honest with yourself. And again, it's not just saying, yeah, I did it. It's realizing why you did it. Why did I steal this thing from somebody else? Why did I try to lower somebody else's dignity to better my own? That's bully stuff, right? Isn't that what bullies do? They like put other people down, not because they're mean people, but because they're just like fearful or afraid inside, or they've been mistreated, but still they're acting out. That mistreatment has turned into anger towards others, and we don't want that. Resentments. Let's try to learn how to get rid of them. All right? Peace. I gotta go. I got they're out riding bikes, so we're being safe. All right. Until next time.
Peace.
Peace.